Hi and welcome to the 30-Day Challenge preseason show. You haven't missed a single thing. It's awesome. We've just been kicking back. We've been doing nothing. Yeah, it's just been brilliant. No, you might have noticed no song today. You know, what can you do? Today we are going to cover a bunch of things in the 30 minutes. The official part of the show goes about 30 minutes. Then we have a small break, and then we go into questions and answers. Now, of course, this is the last preseason show because on Thursday night, because the 1st of August is a Friday, so Thursday night we have our absolutely infamous, literally, 30-Day Challenge kickoff show. And that is usually enormous. And this year we have a rolling 30-Day Challenge party literally going around the globe where people have organised meetups in all sorts of places around the world. And I'm going to mention the ones that I know about, and there's still plenty of time to organise people in your particular town, city or compound, depending on where you happen to be. And it's going to be a fantastic, so more details on that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about ideas, because the one bit of homework that I've set you to get ready for this year's challenge is to just have a notebook full of ideas. No judgment on those ideas, but have a notebook full of them. We're going to talk about the difference between how-tos and whys. There are a lot of new people just arriving and haven't we're getting more people arrive each day than participated in the first 2 challenges, if that gives you some idea of just how many people are arriving to start the 30-Day Challenge this year every single day. And I'm going to finish off. It was a tough week. I've been to, touch wood, a total of 4 funerals in my life till last week, and I copped 2 last week. And I just want to finish up with something there. Then we're going to have a short break. Then we have the unrecorded questions and answers, and we take it from there. So we'll see how we go. All right, so let's get cracking. The first thing I want to mention is meetups. Now, this is something that we haven't really done and promoted, but as we thought about brainstorming for what we would do that is different for this year's challenge, there was one thing that really stood out, and the reason it stood out was that usually when I travel, and oops, I've just lost my lights, so hopefully yeah, it's still okay, just I don't look as pretty as normal. They're doing, oh, lights back on, that's very good, thank you. I'm getting a VNC server put in the next room. Don't ask. So, what happens when we travel? We try to have meetups when I'm traveling around the place, because it's a great chance to literally meet people, and it's always a fantastic thing. We always love it when we actually do it, but we do it so very rarely. And I think if there's one thing as an internet marketing community and creating small businesses online, it's a bit sort of weird to not a lot of people know what you're sort of doing, right? And this is great. This is a great way as a sense of community, but there's nothing that beats face-to-face involvement. Hence our sponsoring and creating a whole bunch of meetups. And what we're really actually hoping, our grand plan here, is that these actually go into a monthly thing. Now, being a veteran of the .com phase, there was one very interesting thing out of the whole .com era, and some of you may remember this, is an organisation called First Tuesday. And First Tuesday was literally the first Tuesday of each month, and all sort of the internet entrepreneurs of the time in the late 90s would all gather at these particular gatherings. I think it started in London and then spread. And I'd really love to think that we could sort of take a few ideas from the First Tuesday to create something where we all at least meet up in our relative cities sort of once a month or something like that. I think it'd be great to do. And of course, with the technology that we have available, in theory, you could do like the very infamous Beechworth meetup, where you can actually broadcast it as well, which is which would be very, very cool as well, so people could feel they could participate wherever they happen to be. So this is something we're really going to encourage. Now, as of writing, I know about 4 formal meetups, but I do hope you send me the details, and my email is back working. Thanks, Apple. We'll talk about that in the question and answer section. I would encourage people to take charge. Now, Dan and I are going to do something to help encourage people who are effectively the organisers of meetings in their cities as well. We want to reward people who take the effort to stick their hands up and organise meetups in their particular hometowns, because I think it does take a little bit of work to coordinate with a venue and all those sorts of things, so we want to reward that. The 4 that currently, well, there are 3 that have been official and 1 that's going to be announced today. First of all, we have Brisbane. So Brisbane in Australia, Andrew Nesbitt is organising a meetup there in Brisbane, and Nes might drop those details. I see already Craig Eubanks has put up a URL in the chat screen there for the San Francisco meetup, which is just fantastic. And there's also it's going to be quite huge. Dan is hosting a meetup which just has all the markings of a historic event in Manchester. I believe that's starting in the afternoon, and it's going all the way. And I think Caro has, fantastic, Sydney, which is just brilliant. And there's Nes has used Upcoming, and what's very, very cool about all of this is there are 2 sites. One's called meetup.com and the other one's called Upcoming, and these are Web 2.0 meeting organising sites, and they're brilliant. And the thing I must admit I do like about Upcoming is that you can integrate it in with FriendFeed, which is very, very, very cool. And so we've got now Manchester, UK, Manchester, United Kingdom. Thank you for I've got to think global. So we've got Manchester in the United Kingdom, we've got Brisbane in Australia, we've got Sydney in Australia, we've got San Francisco, and yes, we will be doing one this Friday in Melbourne, and it's my sincere hope that we will broadcast that live. Guru Bob raised his eyebrows when I mentioned it, but I thought it would be funny to try do the the kick-off party from our actual Melbourne meetup. So we're still working out some logistics. Stay tuned, and you will see what's going on there. So should be very, very interesting indeed. And if you're doing one, I also believe there is one in Austin, Texas, which is just brilliant, and I believe also New York. So there's a few that are happening. Let us know about what is going on. But I think if you look at National Writers Month, which was the inspiration for one of the inspirations for the 30-day challenge, one of the things that really helped people along was meeting fellow novelists who were writing their 1,625 words each day. And I think once a week, or at least once a month, once a week during the challenge, sort of once a month during the actual challenge itself and onwards, I think would be a brilliant thing. Just a great way to do it. And if I look at how I do it with my mates, and I'm very fortunate to have some very, very, very smart IT mates, we do this informally every time. We do it very formally actually. We get together in Las Vegas once a year, where we have a couple of days of brainstorming, and we do it informally when we're all at conferences and things like that. And it's the discussions that we have and the insights and the people saying, well, I tested this and this worked, and I tested this and this worked, or I tested this, it bombed completely. Very, very valuable stuff. So this is something we are really, really keen to encourage and sponsor. You can send me an email. My normal old email actually works, so you can send me an email to eddale@mac.com. I should have an overlay for eddale@mac.com with the details. And if you're using, and I really recommend you use either Upcoming upcoming.com or meetup.com. Either or, both are fantastic to organise the events, because there is nothing like it, and it's a really great way of doing things. And we'll publicise all of those. We'll put up a special place on the forum, and we'll also publicise them for you on the blogs as well. So get to it. I think it's going to be a really fantastic part, and I'll be insisting that, just like I have to, I want to see iPhone photos, I want to see recordings, I want to see video. Let's really make it so everybody can share. So that will be a really, really interesting part, I think, of the challenge. Oh, I'd love to see a Chicago one going on as well. That'd be brilliant. Okay, so next, I just want to just a quick. We'll do a quick little poll here. Who, in terms of ideas, actually I can create a poll. We haven't done this before. Let's do this. Who? Hang on, here we are. Watch this. I'm doing this live, folks. You can create a poll in Ustream. Who has, of course, I have to type and talk, which is a bit who has some ideas? And the answer choices are yes, I'm full of them, or no, none, help me, or 3, no, we won't be funny. And I'm going to start this poll and see what happens. Now, let's see who's hitting their poll. Now, I actually am not sure how this works on your screens, but only 2 of you have worked out how to vote so far. I suppose you're full of ideas, right? That's brilliant. Oh, that's it. That's it. Get those polls going. Where is the poll, folks? Anyone? Anyone? It's at the bottom of the video. Is it down here? Is that where it is? Poll? There we are. Very good. Yeah, I can't see it because I've got a different screen to you chaps. Bottom left corner, the link has polls. There we are. Now we're currently doing 75-25 in the 75%, 22%. Lots of people with ideas. There's a direct correlation, which is brilliant. But here's the thing. Now I was just to give you an idea. I think, and it's like any muscle, and you've heard me say this before. It's like, and I did this for the special European edition, and hello all the European, we did a special European friendly time show during the week. And when it comes to ideas, I think it's about flexing those muscles. Now we're going to show you some really cool online ways to get ideas during day 1 literally of the 30-day challenge. But what I'd love you to do is get out and, like, for example, yesterday as I was going to pick up Hannah's ice cream birthday cake, I walked past this old second-hand bookstore, and in the window it had those notices for different clubs and hobbies. There was like coin collecting, stamp collecting, then there was dancing, like there was this like all different styles of dancing. There was adult dancing classes. You know, there was probably a dozen different ideas just in this one shop window, and I think I did a Twitter about it, and that is part of the whole process. It's very, very, very cool, and I think getting out, and as I've said again and again, really getting out to get ideas is a great thing. So between now and then, if you're in the UK, going to your WH Smith, if you're in Australia, going to your newsagents, if you're in the United States, Borders and Barnes and Noble, anywhere where you've got those big, huge magazine racks. I remember one of my favourite stores when I lived in New York. One of my favourite stores, it was down on 42nd Street. I think it was just off the Times Square precinct. I think between Broadway and the Avenue of the Stars, there was this amazing magazine shop which had like pretty much every magazine published from anywhere in the world. It was incredible. Your local library is also, most libraries around the world are all just fantastic sources of ideas, and indeed most of them, like my local library here in Moonee Ponds, has a huge number of magazines which it gets in, and you can go in and read them for free and flick through, and it's very comfortable, nice environment. So that would be something that I'd really encourage you do before we get cracking. And the important thing, and here's the big thing, and this is such a hard thing for people to stop doing, is to stop judging your ideas. We're going to show you how to look at an idea and run it through a whole series of questions and filters so that you can work out whether it's going to be a good one or not. Boy, have we got an extraordinary process for you this year. It is going to blow people away. Did somebody say Market Samurai? But we have an extraordinary market research process this year. Really proud. Did I mention we have an extraordinary market research process this year that people are going to find just extraordinary? I see the Linkmeister is spoiling showbiz, Shannon Cole. Showbiz. But really, you know, by this stage, I'd love to think that you have dozens of ideas, but the important thing you mustn't do is judge. Okay, and this is real hard because at school we're taught literally from the earliest time, we're taught to edit as we go. In other words, you know, you think, oh, okay, being a ballerina, somebody's bound to have done that already. Oh, I don't really know much about ballerina. No, that's not a good idea. I just applied about 6 different filters in judgment on that. All I want you to do is say ballet. Done. That's an idea. Whether it's a good one or not, who knows? You will know when we take you through the process. And the great thing with the market research process is that you'll be able to very quickly go through a bunch of ideas to find something good. Now I see Rihanna there. It's Rihanna? I think it's Rihanna. She's just saying, I'm trying to come up with something good, and that's the problem. That's the problem right there. Is that by saying that I'm trying to come up with something good, you're already trying to apply a bunch of filters. And most people, me included, really, why use gut feel online? One of the beautiful things about taking your business online and creating a small business online is there's no need to guess. There's just no need to guess. You know how many people are going to walk past your shop. You know how many people are going to come through the door exactly. You know what they want to buy. You know how much of what they want to buy they're going to potentially buy. There's literally nothing left to chance. And that's why you shouldn't edit, because there's definitely a time for editing and judgment and filtering, no question. But that's not in the creative process. And it was such a huge lesson that Gary Halbert taught me, was that you don't edit when you're creating, because you just interrupt your brain the whole time. At that brilliant book that I mentioned, which you can get it on Alison Reynolds' site. I recommend going to Alison Reynolds' site, and because I know she's got it featured on her blog. That's how I know. It's called Brain Rules, and stunning book, because as I think I've said on past pre-season shows, a whole bunch of brain research, etc. Amazing book. And one of the key things it talks about is the way we process things, and we're taught the wrong way to process things in school, which is very sad. Thank you, Linkmeister, doing well. Shannon Cole, everybody, master of the links. Thanks for being in the building. And there's Alison, she's got her blog up there too, which is excellent. So definitely when it comes to ideas, the biggest problem people have when they don't have, there are only 2 issues. And one comes from Robert McKee's story, and it's about writer's block. People have writer's block because they don't have enough information to process. They need more inputs. Okay, they need more things to stuff in their brain to get it going. That's definitionally writer's block, because you don't know what to write about, right? So the same thing applies when it comes to coming up with ideas for potential niches. Now, for a lot of you, which is great, you'll actually already have a niche in the sense that you might have a real-world business. You might be creating, I don't know, brilliant pens, for example, like Richard Merritt. Check this out, by the way. I haven't had a chance to show you this. Have you guys seen? This is. I'll just hopefully we'll. Hopefully it'll get into some focus here. No, it's not going to focus, but I don't know if you guys can see that. But that is the most magnificent writing implement I've ever had the pleasure of using. And it's a, look at that, beautiful. As I say, you can't see it. Very nice indeed. And it's a Richard Merritt pen. And so he's got a real world business, and you look at like Gabriel and his amplifiers, you know, real world businesses that have taken what they've used with the 30-day challenge and applied them and got really stunning results. So you guys, people who already have a business, what you have to worry about is your expertise doing the editing. And so you need to sort of come at the challenge and come at it from a very, very open, fresh perspective. And that's very important. The Linkmeister's on the job today. He's amazing. I bet... No, I won't do that. All right. Now, what have we got? So that's about all I've got to say with ideas. I think that well and truly has ideas covered. So next, what did I want to talk about next? Next, yes, how-tos without whys. And actually, interestingly, this was another thing in that Brain Rules book, which I suppose described a phenom which I've seen in the 30-day challenge again and again, and each year I try to address it. See, here's the thing. If you sort of give people an overall view or strategy of, well, like if we said, okay folks, we're going to be doing X, Y, and Z in the 30-day challenge, a lot of people are going to apply a bunch of filters over that and go, oh, all right, I already know how to do that, or I already know how to do that, and then they won't take notice of it, and they won't focus on the process. Because, again, research after research after research shows that the people who are successful are the ones that, yeah, they know their goal, and our goal is $1, just to make a single lousy dollar. But the goal there, it's just $1, and then if you look forward and you go through this, okay, then you have to forget about that and focus on the process. People, all those amazing athletes who are going to be doing the Olympics while we're doing the 30-day challenge, all of those people are process focused. They have to be. They can't get world class unless they are process focused. And that is such a big deal. However, and having read this here's the problem. Here's the problem with all that. Because the first 2 years I was like a process focused tyrant. I really was. All I would do is say, just focus on today's lesson. Have you done today's lesson? Great. If you haven't focused on today's lesson, too bad. I realized there's a flaw in that process as well. And the flaw is that, and it's sort of almost like a contradiction, is that your brain really needs a lot of reasons why to do something. And the more reasons why you can give it to do something, it's more likely to do, which is sort of makes sense as well. But often the reason why can get in the way of the process, because people say, oh, right, because they've got their own experiences around that particular thing. Bottom line is, I would like to think this year, I think we've got it even more well and truly balanced. But I know a lot of you who have just been arriving for pre-season have seen all of these how-tos, right, with not a lot of reason whys. Please be absolutely clear that there is nothing that we have taught you to this point that is redundant or a waste of time. We're going to show you the whole marketing uses of what we're showing you, what we've been showing you in pre-season, inside the 30-day challenge, and some of that is going to stun you. But we wanted to spend the time in pre-season getting you to understand the tools. We're then going to use those to market your particular business inside the 30-day challenge in ways that, bluntly, nobody's ever seen before. So this is a very, very important point. So I just wanted to really, really make that point. The other thing, and I just mentioned it there, why a lot of people, and we have this every year, and I know the veterans sort of sit back and chuckle a little bit because it's a classic thing. You know, people say, because we did $10 last year because it was so easy, we're back to $1, and I'll explain that in a second. The reason that we make the goal so laughably easy is because we want to get your brain out of the way. See, a lot of us go to internet marketing conferences and you see stuff online and you see the thing where somebody's made, you know, $1 million a day, or they've made, you know, $10,000 a month. And it's all true, it's all factual. But the problem, what sometimes they don't point out, is how much time, effort and energy they got to that point. And I'm very much the same. You know, I've often said, you know, with the wedding planning site, it took 38 failures before we made our first dollar of profit with that particular site, because we had to go through all of these tests, all of these things, and that was such a big deal, folks. I mean, so what happened? Here's what happens. You go to these, you know, you go to a big seminar or whatever it happens to be, not a big seminar, a large internet seminar, and you have all these great ideas and you're bursting and you've got your enthusiasm bank account is at an all-time high. And then you have to face the hard reality of doing work, and off you go. You're at it, you're putting in the energy, you're putting in the time, you're really working hard. Here's the problem. Is that you really apply yourself for a month and you may not have made any money at all. And consciously, whether you recognize it consciously or not, your brain's going, you know what, I should have made $10,000. This is what this guy made. He was making $10,000 a month. I'm a failure. I think it's time to go watch some daytime movies. Because the brain is always trying to do the best thing by you. And I don't want to get into, you know, professional development or self-help or any of that stuff. Not my cup of tea. But there's a lot of scientific fact around the fact that, you know, your brain's just trying to do the best thing by you. And so by making it $1, you know, I want people to say, oh, easy. Because we all know, actually, in truth, it's not. Because what we're doing inside the 30 days is, anybody could show you a technique, which in fact, in the immediate edge, we had one of my favorite projects that we did was the 5-hour challenge. And it was just 5 hours to create something, create a site, get traffic and make sales. It's a brilliant little technique using Google Trends. And so you can make money really, really, really quickly. There's no question about that. But what we do in the 30-day challenge, and this is, I just really want to make this point, all the effort we're going to put through and put in during this 30 days, you follow along, you follow all the steps, you have the foundations for a real business, okay? You have the foundations for a real business. You'll have done all the groundwork so that you know that the effort you put in is going to result in something that, if it works, will absolutely please get that off, moderators. Thank you. Hello, moderators. Yes, and particularly evil one. Sorry, distracted by that. Thank you, Caro. So that's what I wanted you to figure out, and to really understand that it's only $1, and it's deliberately, so that gets your brain out of the way, because you go, I can make $1. It's easy. But setting up a business and doing it right will require 30 days of effort. So that's why we focus on $1, and that's why we do it. So hopefully we do that. And the reason that I want to focus so carefully on this, and why this is such a worthwhile project to me, is, look, as I said to you, I've had two funerals that I had to go to last week. The first one was actually Hannah's best friend's dad, and he was in his late 40s, and he was a chiropractor. He was fit and healthy. He skied, he hunted, he went to the gym all the time. He was an amazingly fit person, and boom, in his sleep, gone, just gone, right? And his dear wife and child, he's gone. Just their lives have turned upside down in an instant. It's horrific to think about. And the good thing about what happened with this particular person is that they lived a great life. And they went skiing. He really lived life, and it was brilliant. So he was taken ridiculously early, but boy did he live his life, and he's got his kids fantastic, and she will go on and do great things, and they've got a huge support network. But just horrific to think that somebody who's so fit, so healthy, so everything, and you see this happen occasionally. They just boom, just drop dead. The second funeral was my best mate's brother, and he'd been fighting cancer since he was 32, and it finally got him at 35. And Richard, he really did live life, and he really fought a good fight, and eventually it got him. But I tell you what, what's the lesson out of all of this? The lesson is, I think, is that life is short, and so to get into something and do it with enthusiasm, and I'm not necessarily talking about the 30-day challenge here, I'm just talking about life in general, is you just never know what's going to happen. And I've got to tell you, and this is something that, and I'm very aware of, I skip over it, but I'm very, very aware of it too. The number of people who are some of the most wonderful contributors to this community, I know, have serious health problems, serious health challenges, some quite extraordinary. And the fact that they can contribute so incredibly while still, bluntly suffering, because that's the only way I could describe it, some incredible physical challenges, just leaves me in awe. And so, I don't know if there is a point about that, but I think this, it's just an opportunity. And I think when you're presented with opportunities, I suppose the lesson is to take them. That's my thing, and to have experiences, and to be part of communities, to get in there and gives things a real crack. And for me, I think that is a big part of the 30-day challenge, and I suppose the ethos that is around the 30-day challenge, not just during August, but throughout the rest of the year. So, with that, we will have a short break, and we will come back now. Caro is setting herself up. Caro will give you all the details for questions and answers. We'll take questions and answers. I should say too, and we will definitely give it a send-off run before the end. I suspect that the dear old 30-day challenge theme song, this will be the last time it'll get a formal playing. It'll always live on in our hearts, because I believe that Phil will have our new song ready for kickoff on the 1st of August. Phil, if you're listening. So with that, we'll send off and salute the magnificent theme of the 30-day challenge, but as the magnificent Heidi Klum says in fashion, one day you're in and the next day you're out. So with that, can't wait to see you guys. Keep an eye on your email, keep an eye on the blog. Make sure, one thing. A lot of you watching this will be just coming on to the 30-day challenge, and you'll be thinking, oh my goodness, look at all this pre-season. Is there a crib sheet, or is there a cheat sheet? What can I do to get in the race? If there was one thing to get in the race, I really think it would be Twitter, and I would definitely think that Twitter is the thing to hang on, let me just click this off here. I think if there was one tool that you needed to get au fait with, it would be Twitter, because we get so much of our up-to-date information out during using Twitter. And I think as a team, and I'm already noticing some amazing people using Twitter inside their teams, which is just fantastic, because if you mention my name, I will see it. It's like magic. So if there's one thing I'd say, if you do nothing else of the pre-season and just do one thing, that is get yourself familiar with Twitter, get it set up, get Twirl set up, and make sure it's something that you start using so that you can get cracking. All right, so with that, let's say farewell to the magnificent 30-day challenge theme song. We have loved you long time, and we will see. There'll be a short break. We will have literally a short 5-minute break, and then we'll be back with questions and answers. So we'll speak soon. Take it away, Phil.
If you wanna make some money online, you better listen to a mentor friend of mine. Well, pretty soon you're gonna know this song, as well as Dan Rain's Pretty Pink Thong. Adele is gonna teach you some skill until you've made your first $10 bill. It's the only place to be this year. That's the 30-day challenge. That's the 30-day challenge online.
Okay, boys and girls, we're going to do it again, okay? Now follow the words on the screen. Are you ready? Here we go.
If you wanna make some money online, you better listen to a mentor friend of mine. Well, pretty soon you're gonna know this song, as well as Dan Rain's Pretty Pink Thong. Adele is gonna teach you some skill until you've made your first $10 bill. It's the only place to be this year. That's the 30-day challenge. That's the 30-day challenge online.
very funny. Alright folks, we're back. There is indeed no charge for my guitar playing, let me tell you. Alright. Okay. Hope you don't mind showing your photos off. Oh! No, I don't. The screensaver came up. It's a nice screensaver, that one. I've got basically every digital photo that I've ever taken. All on there. Man, this overdrive's cool. Alright, good. Alright, so let's go to our questions for today. Where are we? Let's go to the correct camera. New. Yep. And no. And we're back. Better turn that down a bit. Okay, so Caro has been collecting different questions here. So let's have a look, and let's have the first thing is the Sydney details. Is July 31st, 5 PM to 8 PM at Bungalow 8, which is very cool. So there we have it. Okay, now. What else have we got here? What's so good about Market Samurai? Market Samurai is insane. it's at its base level is a keyword research tool, but when you see how it's used for market selection, when you see how it's used in pay-per-click, when you see how it's used for LSI, latent sexy indexing, or something like that, I believe. I might be paraphrasing slightly on that acronym. I'm sure Master of the Links will correct that. But it's basically, it's a stunning tool when used the right way. And of course, one of the things that's magnificent about it is it's cross-platform. It works just as well on a Mac as it does on a PC, or indeed even Linux, for those of you who are so inclined, which is fantastic. DNet asks, is there going to be a 30-day challenge on July 31st? There sure is. You can bet your bottom dollar. We'll be going live. It'll be Friday morning here in Australia, but as we always do, we have a huge kickoff, and I'm hoping we'll actually be on location from the Melbourne. We'll have a party. It'll be on a Friday during the middle of the day, but we'll actually come live from the party so you can see some of the Melbourne 30-day challenges. We'll get Guru Bob out, we'll get the Market Samurai boys out, so we should have a bit of fun with it, with a bit of luck. Cross fingers. So we'll see. Rob Somerville thinks I'm insane for doing it, but we'll give it a crack, I think. Who dares wins, I say. So, Ed, what do I think of dropshipping? I have no problem with dropshipping. I think well, now let me explain what's dropshipping for a lot of you out there. Basically, there are companies where you take the orders for product and they will do all the fulfillment for you. They've got the stuff in their warehouses, and you just send them the order, and then they ship it for you, and then you split the money, or you make a margin on top. Brilliant business for a whole bunch of things. My good mates over at Stompernet, that's something that they absolutely specialize in, and some people have done extraordinarily well with it. I suppose my thing is with it all, again, is it appropriate for your market? I don't know the answer to that. And for a lot of people, I don't think they know the answer of it until you market research. So once you finish market researching, then boom, okay, dropshipping could be a really, really great thing to do. I have no problems with it whatsoever. I know some people who are killing it in gym equipment and all sorts of things which you wouldn't naturally think that somebody could sell, but they're doing brilliantly. So I have no problem with dropshipping. Love it. We love it long time. I haven't personally done it because I just come out in hives anytime I have to touch a physical product. It's a problem for me. I'm in therapy. Heather says, how important is a Squidoo lens if you're already on Facebook? Okay, it's a bit of a technical one. They're two different things. Facebook is at its heart a way to communicate with friends. It's a community building. It's a pipe which connects content and people together. You'll hear me talk a lot about pipes and now what's the US term? Dam? Do you use the word dam as in water? Dams, ponds? I'll have to consult my US dictionary there. I'll look at all those Linux people are having a chat on the Chapper. Thank you, Karen. I love that. Dam is good. Dam, thank you, Mindy. Very good. As in holding the water back. Yeah, as opposed to damn, I just smashed my thumb into 3 little pieces. Very good. Okay, glad we got that. So, you'll hear me talking a lot about that, and it'll actually make sense when I talk about it during the challenge. So Facebook is pipes. It delivers content to people. It connects them all together at the end of the day. Squidoo is a dam. It's a content holder. And it's a content holder which, as it turns out, Google likes. So we use that for, in particular last year, we used that as a key part of our strategy. Now, interestingly, and because you're still here with me with the question, a criticism of last year's. Yes, unbelievably, people actually dare to criticize. I find it extraordinary that anybody could find anything wrong with anything I do ever, because I am indeed perfect. But, funnily enough, some people did criticize. And the criticism, which just cut me to the bone, was that, well, hang on, if you're building all these sites on other people's platforms, what happens if they do, as ironically happened right in the middle of the challenge last year. Many of you will remember Tumblergate. What happens if they decide to pull the plug on you? Isn't that a problem? Well, yes and no, it is a problem. Yes, there are other places you can put your content. I wonder what would happen if we could show you the exact same results, but with your own site. I wonder. Surely that's not possible. Surely not. Stay tuned. Darenet, the evil, dastardly and dangerous Darenet. Whatever he's got, I want. He knows how to send a 30-day challenge referral, let me tell you. Ask if I've read The Power of Full Engagement. No, I have seen the book. I'm bluntly frightened because, yes, if I ever actually focused on one thing for any period of time, I often think, geez, imagine if I actually practiced guitar. I could actually play if I did. Can you clear up what we need to do with Market Samurai? Well, okay, because you're here and you're still part of this, there's still 270 people watching, and this is not the fun part. But no, okay, because you're all here, I'll tell you something. I'll give you one little. This is a first. I've never done this ever. If you're in the Immediate Edge, you are actually getting a free copy of Market Samurai, like a free copy for you to own, as long as you provided a testimonial or some beta feedback, because one of the cool things about the Immediate Edge is people ask us to test their products because of the type of people that are inside the Immediate Edge. They're good testers. They know their stuff, so which is cool. And so Market Samurai have promised to do that. So that's that. What's going to happen on the 1st of August with Market Samurai is that if you're a member of the 30-day challenge, well, not actually the 1st of August, but very shortly thereafter, you're going to get a free copy to trial for 14 days. And that's all that's all you'll need in the 30-day challenge context. So you will actually get to see it, touch it, and play it before anybody else in the world. And then post the 30-day challenge, obviously the boys are going to sell it. So you are going to get a very cool... I just thought I'd throw that in there just to let you know. Tell your friends to get part of the 30-day challenge. And if you think that's cool, we've been holding something back, which I hope to bring to the Immediate Edge members this week. We've had to keep it extremely under wraps. That is just going to blow you all away. Because it's showbiz, people. You've got to. It's theatre. You've got to have a final act. And what will Market Samurai cost during the challenge? 0, zip, nothing, zilch, nothing. So that'll be. But it will expire. Okay, that's the difference between the Immediate Edge. In the Immediate Edge, you'll actually get your own copy to keep. With the 30-day challenge, you'll get one to trial, and then you'll have the option, if you want to use it later on outside of the 30-day challenge, to buy it. But you won't need to buy it to successfully complete the 30-day challenge. That's sort of my point. Okay, yes, Genovese, Cafe Latte. Master of the Links, can you bring up a Genovese link? I'll test him. Okay, Shannon Cole, by the way, Master of the Links, incredibly talented program. Mate, did you sell? He was doing this incredible link thing. Did you? If he's there, I don't know if he has. Oh, sorry, Guru Bob's. He's probably yelling at me on iChat. Base keyword and market research functionality of Market Samurai will always be free. Is that really? What were we smoking when that was decided? My goodness me. Well, if Guru Bob says, then it must be true. Because, yeah, really, you know, what comes out of my mouth, grain of salt. What comes out of the Guru's mouth, gospel. Where's my iChat window? I'm sure I'm being yelled at in my iChat. Oh, 8 messages. Never good. Did you iChat me on that, Rob? I can't see that you have. Alright, we'll keep walking along. Hopefully we'll have Guru Bob live, because I know a lot of people, you know, look, everybody knows that, Dan is the evil genius brains behind a lot of the technology that goes on, and Guru Bob as that's okay, we'll discuss this afternoon. Okay, thanks mate. Maybe I didn't get that memo. Maybe I just didn't get the memo. I'm obviously here in front of you guys for the very obvious reason: sex appeal. When you've got this pretty, people who watch American Top Model will know what I just did then. Pretty, you've got to flaunt it, okay? I've been given a gift, and I just have to, the deity of my choice has blessed me with this type of looks and talent. What can you do? Why are people laughing so much? Did you see that in America's Top Model? We're just seeing that cycle, so don't tell me who won. I love Top Model. I don't know. America's Top Model, Australia's Top Model, love it. New Zealand Top Model, that's a bit of a worry. But Australian Top Model and US Top Model, fantastic. I love it to death. And, and this, anyway, pretty, all this package, pretty. Dear me. Okay, so, let's have a look. Caro, I believe, won New Zealand's Top Model. It was in black and white in those days, but she did win. Now I'm really getting in trouble. Okay, Caro, can you ask Ed about the time and place for his planned Melbourne meetup? It will be Friday morning, and because we'll broadcast at 10 a.m, so it'll be sort of mid-morning, and I have to figure out a coffee venue that'll put up with us and hopefully have decent Wi-Fi. So we'll work that out. That's not 100% certain, but I'm feeling inspired. I think we can risk it. Roll the dice. Okay, Caro, are we going to be using iTunes again for downloading podcasts and so on this year? Two things on that. For the actual core lesson content, in previous years we've had a podcast where we could, where you just automatically wake up in the morning and boom, the latest lesson would be in your iTunes thing. It works brilliantly during the challenge, but this year, because we've realised that, even in the quietest times, we were having 50 to 100 people a day starting the challenge last year, which is just extraordinary. That didn't work because, unfortunately, the feed, if somebody signed up to the feed later on, then they wouldn't get all of the episodes into their feed, and they'd be going, what the hell's going on? That, for me, was an issue. So, that's why we're not doing, and we talked about this a bit in the very last lesson of pre-season, the last technical lesson. We're not using the feed per se for delivery of lessons. However, if you're on YouTube and you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you get a feed. If you want a higher quality thing, you can go to somewhere like Reva and subscribe to the feed there, and you can also download from there. You can, of course, just go to the website and download. We've got versions for the iPhone. We've got versions which are, inverted commas, high definition, that'll work beautifully on Apple TV. So you've got plenty of different options for accessing the information. It's too much of a support issue for us after the event. Having said that, and I want to throw this out there, and I think is My Drug Is People successful online? And I'm not sure if Michelle McPherson is there. One of the things I wanted to talk about, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts actually. Now I've got the official iPhone as opposed to my hacked one. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts as I've been driving around. There's a great This Week in Mac is a fantastic one if you're a Mac fan, of course, and iPhone Alley is another one I've been listening to. I've also been listening to, and Nerd Alert coming up, the Dungeons and Dragons podcast was put out by the Penny Arcade guys, and it's very I've got to say, it's parents guidance recommended. It's adult language, but for those of you who played Dungeons and Dragons, this series of these Penny Arcade guys, who I just think are absolutely hilarious, actually recorded themselves playing a game of the new 4th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. It's one of those cases where I'm suspecting for a lot of you, you had to be there, but it was hilarious. Oh, he is there. There you are. Good. So, anyway, if I want to tune into what's happened this week in internet marketing, nothing. Nada. Zip. Zero. Zilch. And I think this is a real problem. And so what one of the things I want to do as we go through the channel, I think there's some really cool people who are out there are doing, and Successful is one of them, who's just doing amazing things in terms of networking. And I love the Successful. He signed. I saw a tweet where he says, "My drug of choice is people," and I can believe it with him. And I just think what we should do is a bunch of us should get together and record a podcast each week for people. So if they're driving out in their car and stuff like of what's happened in internet marketing in that particular week, not necessarily 30-day challenge focused. In fact, not 30-day challenge focused at all, but just commenting on all the launch, whatever's been launched that week, whatever's going on, all those things. I think that'd be a good idea. Do you guys think that would be a good idea? I'm just watching chat for a second. Because there's just no podcasts in terms of 30, and you keep it to 45 minutes, and I think it'd be a fun thing to do. So that's we're going to talk after this, but I just think that would be a very cool thing. Let's have a look. Updates on the contest. Well, we'll be awarding the vehicle for the most referrals up to the 1st of August. It is very close. It is very, very close. So there's still a big chance. It could be, I believe, look, I won't speculate on who's ahead because I haven't got the latest details on that, but it's very, very close. Do you think a limited geographical membership site is a good idea to use for the 30-day challenge? Well, yes. I really want it. That's something that we really want to encourage this year. We're really encouraging people using offline business, real-world businesses. I really want people to be participating in the 30-day challenge because you're going to get so much out of this year's challenge. If you are an artist, if you're a musician, a painter, a craftsman of some type, an artisan, you're really fashion designers, anybody who's got, makes or wants to turn their hobby and their creativity into something that actually is also something that makes them money as well, must look at this year's challenge, because I've seen what the past year 30-day challenges have done to businesses that have done it, and they've had extraordinary results with it. So I really, really want to encourage that. If you've got an existing website, I also want to encourage that too. There's only one tiny danger, okay, and something you have to be prepared for, and we'll talk about this when we go into the market research section. The thing that you have to be prepared for, okay, is you look at the market research and go, oh my, that is a problem. And I just really, 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 really want you to be prepared for that, because if the data doesn't support what you've done, doesn't mean it's bad, it just means you've got to be careful. So that is a part of it. So keep an idea. Let's see, is Ed going to be giving away anything tonight? No, but certainly for the party, we're going to have some killer giveaways. Hi Kara, just interested in what the reorganised forum will look like. We are doing a reorg of the forum. Again, a couple of things. One is that we want to encourage people to make this their one of their internet marketing destinations 365 days of the year. And to do that, then we have to be prepared to let people talk about other parts of internet marketing and different, like dropshipping, for example. If somebody has a question about dropshipping, maybe one of the forum members has participated in that and can help them out. So we're going to change up a lot of you'll see the changes occurring over the course of this week, where you'll see different sections of the forum. So if people want to have more general, like there's been some really great debates over different things this week inside the 30-day challenge that I've been watching, and I love that level of content. I think for some reason, touch wood, I think we've got a level of debate that goes on inside the forum which is above name calling, because unfortunately there are some will remain nameless internet marketing forums where people just, shoot from their arse, and it's just, it brings down the whole level of the forum to a point where it's a waste. So I'd like to think we can encourage that sort of level of informed and educated discussion. And that's what we're going to give it a try. To that end, we're making some changes with what people can put in their signatures that basically you'll be able to put in your friend feed. And the reason for that is that if you make great contributions to the 30-day challenge, people will want to subscribe to your friend feed. And of course, if you want to market stuff or do stuff inside your friend feed, go for your life. And people will judge, because they've got the power of whether, like if you were just spamming them with offers all the time, then they're going to unsubscribe from your friend feed. So I think it's a really, really cool way to do it. And note to self, I must change my signature. Remind me. Let's have a look. If the one tool he suggests is Twitter, but the only link allowed in SIGs is friend feed, will that confuse some of the newbies? Yes, but remember what the context of that discussion was. If there was one single tool out of all of pre-season that you should have, then it should be Twitter, because that is the way I can make an adjustment or a change from wherever I happen to be. And I happen to be in some weird places. Like yesterday I was in Build-A-Bear. So, because of the dynamic way that the 30 days works, the ability for Dan or myself or for Rob to be able to send out a Twitter and for all you guys to know about it is such a huge deal. And this is part of what's so cool about Twitter. It's not, and in my non 30-day challenge role, I actually created a bit of controversy about just pointing out that using Twitter for as an instant message, using Twitter to chat is like trying to make paella with your mobile phone. It could work, but it's not pretty. And I've got to say, that was a quote from Merlin Mann, who's just the most insanely clever guy on the internet. But it's Twitter is not a chat client. It should never be used as a chat client, in my humble opinion. People do use it as a chat client, but you shouldn't. You should use a chat client for chat. You should use Twitter for what it is, which is a magnificent distribution mechanism. And the 30-day challenge is going to show you exactly how to utilize that. And that is very powerful, I think. And we'll show you how to use it. And of course, using it for Teams. And I'm already noticing some people in Teams using it really, really, really brilliantly. So that's it. Okay, I have Twitter and Troll set up, and I'm pretty sure I know how to use Twitter. But my question is, how do I find someone to Twitter to? Do I just blast it out there and someone picks it up, or do you have to invite someone? You could invite somebody to follow you on Twitter. Absolutely. At the end of the day, you could ask people to do so. But my view, and again, this is probably different. I never focus on Twitter numbers. And I certainly ask people to follow me on Twitter, but it's because of the content. So I think if you've got something here, for example, a 30-day challenge forum, let's hear how I hope it. And Mindy, you're a classic case where you're such a good contributor to the 30-day challenge forum. And because you're so knowledgeable, I would want to make sure I'm following your friend feed to make sure I'm seeing what's going on. And then people will pick up that you have Twitter. And then if they want a more direct communication, then they can follow you in Twitter as well. What I love about Friend Feed is that you can advertise all of your services as opposed to just Twitter. With one click, people can follow everything that you're doing. And I think that's part of the cleverness of it. They can also manage it as well, because if I'm following your Friend Feed, Mindy, for example, then I've got a special part in my Google Reader which is just your Friend Feed stuff, so I can see specifically what you're doing. In fact, I can get an overall view. Now, in the internet marketing space, that's one thing. In the team space, that I can see that you're a member of the 30-day challenge room and so on, is a whole different thing. But what's even cooler, imagine if you're in trout fishing. And all of a sudden, people are seeing in your friend feed, they're seeing trout fishing videos, they're seeing Google Maps of where the best trout are being caught in a particular stream. They're seeing upcoming events for trout fishing contests. They're seeing, what else could they do? There's a myriad of things. Books on Amazon that you recommend about trout fishing. all of these sorts of things. All of a sudden, for just one effort on the part of you, see, I never want to make somebody that wants to follow what I'm up to work hard to do so. And that is, I think, is part of the power of friend feed, because somebody, if they want to see, and you follow my friend feed, you see everything, because if I post something on Flickr, boom, you see it. And that's fine, that's a deliberate choice on my behalf. Imagine though, if you use that with a bit of commercial sense inside your own niche. Very powerful indeed. So check that out. Let's have a look. Can somebody give Oggy the slap of love? Let's have a look. I prefer SEO Quake to SEO Book add-on. Is there something I'm missing? Does the SEO for Firefox add-on have more advantages? Look, if you know what they do and whatever you're comfortable with, just go for it. Again, the reason we use things is so we can, for the tens and tens and tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of people who are doing the 30-day challenges here, we need to standardize on something so that there's a bottom line for people who never knew what SEO meant, literally. Most people starting the challenges here wouldn't even know what SEO stands for. So we need to have a standard. But if you do, then that's fine. Tech Dog. Is making money from a blog a viable business model? Yes, absolutely. Except, and what I absolutely despair at is this. Is, again, people blog first, market research later. If you have a blog in an area that is an interesting market, which there's some commerciality, and you'll understand what I mean by that in the first week of the challenge, then a blog in there is vital. It's a very important part of the whole thing. So that's a big part of it. So yes, you can absolutely make what I despair at, and it's interesting because the digerati, if you will, the people who comment on Web 2.0, all they can do with their blog is smother it with ads, which is just so distracting. You'll notice my blog has no ads on it, and any of my niche blogs have zero advertising on it. They don't need to, because you can make a whole lot of money. Yarrow Starrick is actually coming out with a brilliant blog product, and I may not be able to promote it because it'll... I don't know if you guys watching this know this, but we have a blanket ban on promoting any products during this 30-day challenge, because we want you to know that the stuff that we're teaching is being taught because it's the best way to do things, not because we can make money out of it. And that is a very, very important part of the whole thing. It's also very important for people to understand that it's not part of a launch. We don't launch something at the end of the 30-day challenge. And again, people will every year we have people coming, oh yeah, this is a launch, blah, blah, blah. Because we were doing this before launches became launches online. And they think, oh yeah, this is just a launch. It's not. And veterans will back that up. But we just want to make sure we're absolutely, you understand what our motivations are, so we don't promote anything. Unfortunately, that does mean that if there is a really, really good product, which I think is good for people who are interested in certain elements, I won't be able to tell you about it. One of those will be Yarrow Starrick's got a great product coming out. I've seen it. I've seen some sections of it that he's putting together. It is really, really cool, and that is something that I would love to promote but won't be able to. I might put something up in Tubby Nerd, but there's that. Also, I know that Frank Kern is going to do something absolutely psychopathic in the middle of August. Can't say too much, but I won't specifically be able to talk about that either. But that is it. Okay, now, Gamer. It's awesome. Gamer46, you need the 30-day challenge, because you realise marketing like that is just for dunderheads. Oh yeah, quick, somebody's just throwing all these links up in a completely unrelated blog. Let's all click on it quickly. It's got to be good. 30-day challenge can absolutely show you how to make that blog viable. Hi Carol, thanks for clicking questions. Caro, are we going to be focusing on creating audio and or video products in this 30-day challenge? Wait and see. Pete asked me that you need a different file other than RAR. Wrote him back. No, what type of file do you need? Too late to resubmit. Look, no problems at all. Pete's just Not sure on the old RA. Can you do it as a zip file? That would be good. And he should be able to handle that. Thank you. And no, don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll be in. Hi, question for Ed. Are the 30-day challenge teams intended as nuclei for long-term marketing teams? This is a great question, and Gabby asked me this during the week from Gabriel Amplifiers, and I actually said I was going to mention it, and I didn't mention it in the main broadcast, but I did want to mention it, and I'll talk about this now, and I must remember to make it. Another book which I've read recently, which was just brilliant, is a book called Group Genius. Okay, and it talks all about groups and how innovation comes from groups, and how the best innovation does indeed come from groups, small groups of people. One of the things it does say in there, though, is that the effectiveness of any group over time declines as people become so familiar with the other people. That, a harsh way of putting it is familiarity breeds contempt. Certainly the case in my, unfortunately for me, but. And I'm referring to people becoming familiar with me as opposed to me becoming familiar with other people. But that sometimes that it's best to look at a group, for example, in the 30-day challenge context, for this 30-day challenge. And then if something flows out of that, if you're all comfortable and you're all part of that, then go for it. Absolutely, for sure. In San Francisco in 2003, there was a very small meeting. At that meeting, none of us knew each other at the time, I might add. There was about 15 of us in the room. There was Jeff Walker, John Reese, Frank Kern, Jeff Mulligan, myself, Jeff Johnson, all happened to be in this one room at the one time, and we hadn't met each other. And now, while we wouldn't say we're a formal group, we still bounce stuff off each other almost every single day, and that was sprung out of that, and we've continued all these years later, 5 years now, gosh, to continue to communicate and so on. So personally, to answer the question specifically, make it for the 30-day challenge, and then if something happens after that, that's cool. What a bonus. And again, like I started off the show with, geez, I'd love to see meetups going on. I'd love it if we had meetups, going on a monthly basis in all different cities in the world, just where people who are doing internet marketing can actually get face-to-face, no money involved, no costs, just buy yourself your coffee or whatever it happens to be. I hesitate what the people in the Manchester meetup are going to be buying. The word pint comes to mind, but it should be very, very cool. Okay. Using the dam and pipe analogy, let's save that for the 30-day challenge problem. There'll be diagrams, there'll be all sorts of cool stuff. What will be the price of the Market Samurai? No idea. Honestly, no idea. Will there be help in focusing our homework of idea brainstorming to prevent overload? Yes, we'll be providing the fill. But it's impossible to be overloaded at this point because you don't know what to do. All you should be doing is writing a list on the paper. If you got 200, great. If you got 500, great. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter at this point. I used to limit it to 7 ideas because the process that we used was very intensive. It was, intensive. It took you a couple of hours compared to market research for a normal business. Nothing, right? But but in this particular case, I think that now, because Market Samurai is so extraordinary, you can go through a lot more ideas quicker to see whether they've got legs. Could we have Skype casts less formal? I'm not sure what Skype casts are, so I'm not sure. Great report out there, merging offline geographically with your online journey. There's no question. This is why I want to really encourage small businesses, because a local business in a local geographic area is more powerful than the biggest, baddest corporations, global corporations online, because of the way Google works. It's brilliant. How do I know the referral top list is close when you haven't seen the latest rankings? True, when I saw them a couple of days ago, they were very close. how do I ask Ed a private question about an online project idea? You can send me an email to eddale@mac.com, but I have to say, and I must do this formally in the show, my ability to answer questions on one basis go out the window as of now. We will be working we will literally be flat out like lizards drinking during this challenge, because we are dealing with so many people. So a one-to-one email is going to be really, 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 it's just not going to get read. So just, if you've got an idea, apply it to the show. Look, still send it to me. I will get to it eventually. Apple's email not blowing up as a thing, but I just want to apologies in advance. Please don't expect a response immediately. Most times of the year I can, but during the 30-day challenge, very tough. Let's have a look. Is this kosher? Using hub pages to get fast indexing. I learned this by accident some time back and put up a simply add an issue about you. So yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of strategies, and we'll be talking about all sorts of different strategies in the 30-day challenge, but if it works for you, good on you. If we already established a Twitter account made up of a wide variety of people, is it better to have a 30-day challenge Twitter account? No, just use your you, and then you may have a marketing persona, which you might want to use for specific marketing purposes in your particular niche. But other than that, you're you. People who follow you are interested in what you are doing because they're following you. So keep doing interesting things and they'll continue to follow you. Ed, I'm having trouble getting Google Reader share on friend feed. What do I need to do? Okay, let's show. Let's see if we can show you, because it's slightly tricky, not super tricky though. Oh, come on, got a bit of a slowdown here. What's going on? I'm hoping I can show you, but I may not be able to. Where is Flock? Question there, is this really for beginners? Absolutely. Remember, you're in the question and answers section of the last pre-season show here. Come Friday, 1st of August, I'm assuming that you can basically use a mouse and that you know how to read email. If you can cover off those two things, you're set. You will do yourself a huge favor by going back over the friend feed, over the pre-season materials to get some of the tools that we'll be using in the challenge. You can still go back and do them, but it's just a nice way to do it. So that's good. I'm sorry, my computer is really wheezing and I don't know why, so I'm not going to be able to show you, but I'll explain it to you. Google Reader, when you hit the share button, and we show you how to do this in the Google Reader videos, actually creates a new website for you, and that website is something you could give out to people. That website has a unique address, and you just copy that address into the Google Reader section or friend feed, and away you go. We will actually be showing you how to do that at the appropriate time, but that's how you do it. So that is definitely the case. If there's anything, if we just found out about it, is there anything we need to do before the challenge starts? There will actually be an email coming out in the next couple of days called the 30-day challenge pre-season crib sheet, and that will give you the key things. I said in the broadcast earlier that if there's one thing you need to be on, is Twitter. If you can do nothing else between now and Friday, Twitter. But that would be the bare minimum, I think, for preparation purposes, would be the case. Let's have a look. Okay, I think we're pretty much done with questions. I'm just going to go over to the chat window here and just check what's going on here. Thank you, Master of the Links there. Shannon's put up a link there, which is actually to the Google Reader question. Caro's saying there's more questions here. Is that Ed's computer making the noises? That's your head, Gary. When should we start drinking for the start of the challenge? Well, I believe if you're in Manchester, about 5 minutes ago. Now, the Friday broadcast will be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, the Thursday night broadcast, which is December 31st, right? It will be so it'll be Thursday night, so it's the 31st, so that'll be Friday morning in Australia. It'll be 8 p.m. 31st. Why has it gone so out of tune? Okay. What should we prepare to get ready for 30-day challenge? Again, just go through the pre-season lessons. That's fantastic. Ed's gonna kill me. As I've said before, Alison, just a tad disappointed. You know, okay. I must admit that most recent thing that showed a little bit of effort, but I've taught you better than that, Mankini people. I really have. Will there be blogs on? Wait and see. Is that Eric Cartman behind you? It certainly is. Eric Clapton and Eric Cartman, my two favourite Erics in the world. Okay, hopefully you can hear me. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Any chance of linking up all the meetups online at some stage? We will try it. Is there a maximum cap for the team? There's no hard and fast rule. I would certainly not go over 7 myself, because I think it just becomes unmanageable. I have a real bias against 3 people, because I think it gets all schoolyard when 2 people agree and 1 doesn't. 2 is obviously there. I think the sweet spot, personally, myself, is the 4 to 5. Eric Geller, not after his efforts last week. Ed, is there any more pre-season training lessons? No, we've done all the technical lessons, are now done. Yeah, good. 7 people. I think 7 people's good. The Brisbane and Sydney meetups will be attempting to chat live. That'll be great. But you have 10, you know, give it a go with 10, but I think that will be slightly more. So I love, we'll be rooting for you, Ed. I've got to say that means something completely different in Australia. But thanks. Yeah, seriously. Whatever you need to do is awesome. Oh, I'm disappointed in his. Oh, jeez. I'm glad you're getting that sort of action there. You can see where it deteriorates, I think, now. If anybody's watching, I think we've officially gotten into after-party territory. So, thank you very much. There is an actual group dynamic research that supports humans' ability to cope in group of more than 7. That may be the case. Yes, that would. I've never heard that expression. Is there a Canada-Australian dictionary? That's all about pronunciation. Okay, great. Yes, that is. I'll see you. See you, Asbjorn. Thanks for Intern to the Stars. Thanks for being on. Very good. Do I take requests? Yes, I do. Okay, so I think that's really about it, folks. We'll give it a we'll give the broadcast rest. Don't forget, tell your friends for the big. You'll get emails and stuff anyway through the whole thing. I no. Paul Young's going to kill me.